If there were a championship for bad luck, she would have won it hands down. Her mother died before she turned 8, and at school, her classmates constantly teased her. Because of this, she would nervously tug at her hair every time she got so scared that it started falling out. In the end, she had to wear a wig to hide the consequences. At the school prom, several mean classmates publicly ripped her wig off, making her the center of attention for the entire evening. But that moment would become a long, painful memory for her, an eternal shadow that haunted her. Rhiannon finally managed to finish her studies and get a job at a company. However, she quickly realized that no one at work cared about her to the point that her boss didn't even notice that she was sitting there when he tossed his jacket down. She became her boss's personal coat rack. Fortunately, Rhiannon had been through many hard times since childhood, so such trivialities no longer bothered her. She'd only get angry for a couple of seconds, and then brush it off with a light smile. But what really shocked her was the fact that her co-workers treated her as if she weren't even there, completely ignoring her existence. One evening while waiting for the bus, Rhiannon unexpectedly ran into her ex-boyfriend on the other side of the street. Deciding to stop holding a grudge against him, she waved at him in greeting, but he completely ignored her as if she weren't even there. Left completely baffled, she got on the bus and tried to call her sister to chat, but her sister read the message and didn't reply. Fortunately, Rhiannon had a father who loved her very much. She brought him a delicious meal during a visit to the hospital where he was being treated for a serious illness. However, when she called out to him while standing by his bedside, he didn't answer, which terrified her. Could he really be dead? Just as she was about to rush off to find a doctor, she realized it was just a prank. In an effort to make the prank more convincing, her father had even turned off the heart rate monitor. Everything seemed so real. As soon as she saw that he was all right, she breathed a sigh of relief. Then she took out the bread she had bought for him, cutting off a small piece to make it easier for him to eat. But to her horror, after he ate it, he began to choke. In a panic, she ran for help, but just as she had feared, by the time the doctor arrived, her father had choked to death. After sorting out the paperwork at the hospital, Rhiannon, she stood there, stunned and bewildered. How could she have been such a failure? She'd come to visit her father and somehow ended up being the one who had suddenly caused his death. If she'd acted just a little slower, she would have had to say goodbye to him all over again, one misfortune after another. It was all too much. At that moment, her anger reached its peak. A dark seed of resentment began to grow inside her, and she couldn't help but fantasize about what would happen to everyone who had wronged her. But what she did next changed her life forever. Want to know what happened next? Subscribe. The rest of the story is coming soon.